All right, YouTube, we're back out here again, and I just wanted to cover this because I kind of missed it yesterday. I promise I'm going to get better at these videos, but when I talked to the VDOT supervisor, his concern with this section here was that it was so out of spec that somebody had painted it yellow to mark the hazard. That yellow paint, all that does is just mark my property line with my neighbor. It has nothing to do with this being a trip hazard, and you can see there is no difference in height here. These are, I mean, I've walked you around the block, you've seen the other videos. This is not a tripping hazard, but this is, let's get down here so you can see. You can see that that's flat all the way across, right? But this is what they're gonna spend your taxpayer dollars on to bust this up, and same thing over here on this edge. You can see there's no quarter-inch gap or whatever the spec is supposed to be. That is completely flat concrete. And Robert Isdell is so worried that VDOT's gonna get sued over this section of sidewalk right here that they need to spend our taxpayer dollars busting it up. So I just wanted to cover that. We already talked about that section down there. Plenty of worse examples already shown in town, so I won't harp on it. I'm gonna get better on these videos, and just so everybody understands what's happening here, I know this is kind of silly. The whole thing's silly, and I know these VDOT projects are really nothing more than kind of a make-work thing. I know the politicians love them because they get money into the hands of donors and stuff like that. And I'm not blaming this contractor, because God knows he's just working the system. But I really do blame the VDOT guys, because they're gonna spend our tax dollars. They should spend them effectively. And this is not effective. I mean, here I am. I've asked him not to do it. I've told him, okay, if this is really an out of spec problem that's so serious that it has to be done, then I'll do it out of my own pocket. And I'll hire contractors, my own contractors, that'll do a good job, a job I'm satisfied with. But no, it has to be done now. It's an emergency. I'd have to go through a whole permitting process, which apparently Robert Isdell is helpless to help speed that up, even though he's the supervisor of VDOT in Accomack. But this process I would have to go through to get the approvals to do the same work that they're gonna do, that would apparently be such a lengthy process that he just can't take the risk that while I was going through that process, somebody might trip and hurt themselves and sue VDOT. Even though this has been like this since we've lived here, the whole 7 years, and probably decades before that. Anyway, the problem is I asked him not to do something. If I'd asked him to do something, they'd give me a million reasons why they weren't able to do it. But since I don't want them to do it, they're gonna shove it up my ass. So whatever. Let's look happier days. Let's take a look at, these are back in the good old days when companies cared so much about the work they were doing that they would put their name on it. That's from 1912. If you can see that, C.H. Legg Brick and Cement Contractor, Cape Charles, Virginia. They did all this work originally. This concrete's 112 years old, and it's held up well. They did a good job, and you can tell that they cared about it. It's hard to see now, it's pretty warm, but when this was new, you can see it better down here. When they finished it, they rolled it all out with this roller that gave it kind of a dimple texture, like a golf ball. It's pretty cool. You can see it good there. And then, so there's the dimple. Then they edged all the way around with an edge trim. I mean, they finished it. They properly finished it, like a concrete professional would. Not like, the stuff I've been showing you on these videos. So you can kind of see the stuff that they're getting ready to bust up. That's the old good quality stuff. It's got the dimpling on there. It's got the finished edge. You can see, let's take a look. There's no tripping hazard there. That's flat. But we do have this corner. Apparently that corner is mighty hazardous. I mean, you can't just patch that. We got to rip all this out. I mean, how would we shift money from the taxpayers to the contractors? And by the way, VDOT takes their cut in the middle, and if they don't spend all of their budget this year, they don't get as good a budget next year. So it's imperative that we spend this money, even if it's not being done effectively. So that's what's going on. That's why I'm making these videos. That's why I'm gonna do the whole town, I guess. Just showing what's happening. It's disappointing, but it's really no different than what's going on at every level of our government. We have entrenched bureaucrats who are just squandering our money everywhere. So this is happening right in front of my house. So that's what I'm going to pay the most attention to. Anyway, thanks for watching.